Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Overwatch Community Cup Finals. It is the Texas showdown between the Houston In-Laws and the Dallas Fools. Now, we've come a long way. It's here at the end of Season 0, the very end of the uh, tryout season, and this tournament's gotten a lot bigger than how it started. This started as the Little League, which had to be changed because of legal reasons, but it was started by fans of the Overwatch team Boston Uprising, who then made their own team made of lower ranks, bronze to plat, known as the Boston Downsizing. And then they found a team with a similar idea and started scrimming them, and then it became into a big Overwatch Community Cup League, where it was full of all kinds of teams that were fans of certain Overwatch League teams or made their own team names. So you have teams like the Dallas Fools, Houston In-Laws, the LA Gloriators, or maybe something completely new like the Pyeongchang Ping Sox. But it's all led to this. After months of scrimming and then months of stages and really good games and a lot of growth coming out of these mostly lower ranked players and teams, we're going to be going into the finals. Now, the Houston In-Laws and the Dallas Fools are very good, as they've obviously shown, and I'm very excited to see how they've grown and adapted and how they will play here and now in their last match of the first inaugural season. Now, on the In-Laws side, the starting roster is Apple, Admiral, North, Transcend, Runna, and Duo Core. This is a star lineup that the In-Laws are fielding, and so is the starting lineup of the Fools, RLC, Hydreigon, Fancy Raptor, Billy, Tresky, and Ragnaraki. If you've watched this stream before, you know how good these players are and how good they play. So I'm very excited to go into this game and see at the very end of the road, all or nothing, how well the In-Laws and the Fools can do. Now we're going to get this game started soon enough on Eichenwald, a very good map. It's a hybrid map where we will start on a capture point and then move on to a payload. This is very good for deathball compositions, which has really been the meta for quite a while now. It's the meta comp used to be a Rein, Zarya, Mercy, Zenyatta, Hanzo, and a Brigitte, because the armor would be very good. You wouldn't be able to get dived because of the Brigitte and the Hanzo damage, especially with Storm Arrow. And you have Grav to finish the combos with Dragon Strike. That's fallen out a little bit to the wayside because of the same composition, except replace a Brigitte for a Widow, and you have double Sniper. That way Death Balls can't approach you. It's all down to who's the best sniper. And we've seen some counter meta as well with a Pharah Mercy instead, because if you're fighting a bunch of tanks and a Brigitte, there's not a lot that they can do, aside from if you have a Diva diving the Pharah occasionally and a Zenyatta doing damage. So we're going to see, going into this final match, the end of the season, this is the winners and second place, how they will adapt to each other and what kind of comps they will be playing. A big issue with the maps up or the matches up to this point, because it's typically lower ranked players, is the comps are pretty weird. Usually you have like half a deathball comp, half a dive comp. You have like a Ryan and a Winston. It doesn't really work. Which is something that the players learned a lot about over time. Team composition is as important, if not more important, than individual plays and mechanical skill. The comps can really make or break your team. This is something that was shown time and time again. And given that the In-Laws and the Fools have made it to the finals, they have discovered just how important those meta compositions are, as well as playing to your strengths, because meta isn't everything. Being able to hold your own on whatever character you're on is just as important. Now, we do have a slight delay before we start this game, so I'm going to go to a short break, and then when I'm back, we are going to jump into Game 1 of the Best of 5 Overwatch Community Cup Season 0 Finals. And we're off. Heading into map 1, Eichenwald. Many crusaders fought here, and they died here. That's all the lore we're gonna get today. Call me Michael Chu as we get this fight started. Here's the choke point. This is going to be the hardest part in the game until you get to phase 3. The capture point can be very difficult, especially given how tight it is, even with this extra doorway put in. A good death ball with nice DPS is able to plug that up pretty well. Streets phase is going to be the easiest, and then third phase is where Junkrats get all nice and happy because it's such a small area to spam so much damage. Now here come the in-laws setting up. This is a very solid composition starting off. They're running Rein and Zarya, Mercy Zen, of course, followed by North on the Hanzo for the Graviton combo, as well as just the raw damage, and Admiral on this soldier in case there's any Pharahs coming in. Because, like I said, Pharah really counters a kind of death ball composition, but hit scan is always nice to have, especially damage boosted. Now we're going to fly over and look at the other team, as they've got a pretty solid setup going Goats. Goats is a contenders team that really made this composition popular, although they may be switching to Farmer C instead. If they were running Goats, it would be quad tank with Brigitte as one of the tanks, Lucio Moira. They are going to almost run that. They're going to be running too many healers, it seems, which is interesting. They're really just laying down that main healing. They're not going to have the speed boost, but they're going to have the sustain with 2 main healers and a defense matrix and a shield. We'll see how this lack of speed plays into this choke point, as it's all going to be shield damage moving through, and there's not a lot of damage coming out of the Dallas Fools. They're going to have to play this very well, and Transcend is already caught out. Unfortunately, Billy is out of mech, so that's going to slow down their push. And without the speed, they don't really have a way to get past this choke point, and right now, the in-laws have more shield damage. That's not going to stop the Fools from rotating around the point, though, as they're going to meet Transcend, but Ragnarok is going to get pinned, and a big shatter. That's absolutely massive, and this is already going to be some cleanup. Right now, the Fools just need to jump off the map, as this is no longer winnable, and that's exactly what they're going to do. North already with Dragon Strike. Apple only 30% away. They could use this combo very soon in this next fight and win it outright. Firestrike's going to come in. Ragnaraki is not anywhere close to Earthshatter right now, but Fancy Raptor does have Coalescence, and Valkyrie is almost online, which could really give them the sustain they need to win this fight. But right now, Dragon Strike is up, and so is Graviton. It could be used very soon. Transcend is going to go down, though. They're going to need a big combo to win this, especially with Val giving everyone healing and damage, and Rally giving everyone extra health. It's kind of now or never. And here's the Grav. The Dragon is coming in. Diva Bomb's going to try and dissuade any damage, but the Dragons are going to get 2 kills nonetheless, but is going to get rezzed. Billy, with another chance, is going to have mech in time to block this visor from Admiral. Admiral does get RLC in the meantime, though, and it doesn't all get blocked. Billy gets shattered. It's huge. Tresky still alive, though, has managed to survive this entire time, but I spoke too soon. That's going to be a charge onto Tresky. And then a nice Transcendence to keep all of the in-laws alive. And now it is just cleanup again as they send, ooh, a late shatter. And then there goes the Fools packing. Unsure if Ragnaraki is switching, as that was a very ill-advised shatter. That teamfight was not going to be won. But it is likely Ragnarok is going to stay. Right now, though, in-laws, they're winning, but the ultimate economy is actually even. They still have Graviton outside of the in-laws, as well as almost a Earthshatter, but Transcend is down, and that's not going to be very easy to res. Grav is out on the in-laws, and it's going to kill Duocore just with the damage over time. This is going to be the time when the Fools come in and take this point. Ragnaraki didn't even need a shatter and is now 62% towards the next one, and that's going to be this point. Meanwhile, the in-laws are already setting up for their next defense. Unfortunate that Admiral's going to be taken down, as that's going to make the offense from the Fools even easier. Now this point right here is a very good choke to hold. And with the fact that Admiral can run, he's going to be here just in time for the fight. Transcend getting close to a Shatter, grab up again, as well as Dragon and Visor. These ults have been charging so quickly from the in-laws. They just need to use them properly at the right times. And with Ragnarok's shield low, this is the time. Charge is going to take Ragnarok out of the fight, and Dragons is going to get a couple kills. Now, Earth Shatter could be used right now, but Transcend knows that this is not the time. You can just win this fight holding right-click and W. With only 2 ults, well, 3 including Admirals, in-laws are set up to hold this well with the next fight with both support ults and Transcend's Earth Shatter, and a late kill onto Tresky. That's absolutely staggering. Now the Fools, they're going to have to wait for Tresky to come back, but they still have 2 ults of their own, Earth Shatter and support ults, very similar to what the in-laws are running, so they have to get this Bash Shatter. This comp relies on Bash Shatter, and oh no! North is going to get another pick onto Tresky. This Mercy just cannot leave the spawn. Tresky needs a shield or a bubble or something to get out of that spawn room, but the team is just not helping. Hanzo is going to get chased away, now in this tunnel. Fighting Billy. This is going to be the end of North, it seems, but absolutely jukes D.Va. Is North actually going to make it out alive? Dodges that hook thing from Brigitte, and yes, out alive, but Earth Shatter comes out. A boop is going to knock Transcend out of the way. Runna's going to get run over. And while Admiral does get Fancy Raptor, this is still looking very good for the Fools. They spent a lot of time getting it to this point, but they did win this fight. They just need to win a few more in order to close out this second phase. Thanks to the res, they are all 6, and Ragnaraki is pushing forward so that his team can have that space. He's charging in, he's going to get Transcend, and there's no bubble for him, but Ragnaraki is going to be taken down due to how aggressive that was. Unfortunately, no bubble for Ragnaraki as well. And now here is a Visor onto the Mercy, looking for more kills onto the Shattered Brigitte. This Visor is absolutely massive, and Billy is going to go down in the end. Only a minute left. This has to be the fight that Fools wins. Well, actually, no. 3, almost 4 ults on deck. Fools has a lot to work with right now. They may need to do a D.Va bomb grab, but whatever they do, it has to be big, as these DPS are up top with great positioning, and Billy's going to lose mech immediately. That's no bomb, and that's no D.Va. They might have need to use the bomb right there because they only have 20 seconds. It's enough time for D.Va to get back, but it's not an optimal situation. And now with the Grab Dragon, this is going to be it. The in-laws are going to take this fight, and with a little cleanup and possibly someone maybe getting to the point in time, this is the Fools ending their run here. Billy's getting chased. Only 5 seconds left. Has to touch the point. Only 3, 2, 1. Does touch in time, does contest, has D.Va Bomb. D.Va Bomb goes up, still contesting the point. Grab comes out as well, but it doesn't get any picks. Transcendence is out. And unfortunately, this just isn't working out for the Fools. Dual Core even gets a res right in front of RLC. Now a big shatter does come out from Ragnaraki. Is this what the Fools need? Admiral gets away with his life, but Ragnaraki gets taken down in the end. North and Transcend doing so much damage. Here's both DPS ults to clean out this fight, and it does look like this is the final resting place of the payload. This is how far the in-laws need to push the payload in order to win Game 1 of this best of 5. Every game counts. And we'll see how Dallas Fools adapt their composition to run defense. They need to know that there is always the looming option of a Pharah, so they can't run any projectile-heavy compositions, like a Junkrat Hanzo would be absolutely ripped apart by a Pharah. So, as the in-laws did, they need to always account for counters to a comp that they could run. Now, moving forward, we're about to see these hero selections. And of course, Apple definitely staying on this Torbjorn. Can't see any reason why you wouldn't play Torbjorn here and now. But back to the defense, the Fools, they are going to be doing a very smart composition, keeping hitscan in mind. They have a McCree and Junkrat. Billy is going to be doing all of the shield damage, as well as having a tire to combo with RLC's Graviton. Meanwhile, Hydreigon, with a damage boost, should be able to shut down Admiral's Pharah. That's assuming, though, that Admiral doesn't have godlike positioning. We'll see how this matchup works out. Now, it does look like they're going to be running Pharah Mercy, Ryan, I would imagine Zarya, and North on the Hanzo. Apple, well, I'm sure would love to play Torbjorn, is going to have to play that legendary off-tank that is Zarya with the 512, what is it, kilograms lifted? Absolutely massive. And the comp is coming out. And a lot of this is going to come down to Admiral getting these body shots with the rockets and making sure that they don't take too much damage from Hydreigon. Hydreigon is a very good DPS player, and the hitscan is on point. But if Admiral continues to play at this very high positioning, there's not a lot that a McCree can do, or a Soldier for that matter. The damage fall-off, while not yet buffed, is pretty sad for any hitscan players. Now Admiral is getting very good angles, but North is the one to pick up the kill as the fight moves in. There is going to be a res from Tresky that is going to pick Hydreigon back up. That's going to give the Fools a chance to defend. And Runa is going to get taken down again. Picks going back and forth right now. And Ragnaraki, gets saved through the charge by Junkrat's trap, but unfortunately North is going to pick up that kill. Oh, and no tire for you, Billy. Sorry about that. That's going to be a very good play from North moving forward after this point. And with 1, 2, almost 3, and almost 4 ultimates from the in-laws, this is going to be very hard for the Fools to try and defend. Hydreigon switched on to the Widowmaker to try and deal with the Pharah more often, but they are going to have to 1v2 both the Pharah and the Hanzo. That is a lot of work for one Widow to do. But it is something that Hydreigon is going to try nonetheless. Now, interestingly enough, the Fools are just letting the payload get through this choke point. This is, like I said, a very popular place to hold, but that's not going to be the case. Now, Admiral is going to go low, is going to get bubbled, and has such a good situation for a barrage. Ends up using it on Hydreigon, doesn't even want to deal with the Widowmaker. And a huge shatter. This fight's looking over already, and honestly, this could be the last fight. Ooh, a very smart, but unfortunately staggering play from Tresky. Tried to get away, but that is not going to happen. Meanwhile, the payload is getting close up. Hydreigon's going to try and get some shots to try and slow down this offense, but the payload's right here, and it needs someone on it. RLC is going to contest. Ragnaraki has a shatter, but the grab is holding him in place, and Dragons are coming in. Not boosted, though. They're not going to get any kills. Hydreigon's going to take down Admiral. And this may be a chance for a defense to come out of the Fools. They've got a couple kills, but Face Raptor is going to go down, and Runa is going to get rezzed. This is bad news for the Fools, as the in-laws are getting the upper hand. Fools, though, overall, have stabilized. They have gotten these picks. And with that, there's 3.5 minutes to hold 7 meters. This is going to be a hard game to win for the Fools. Now, it's this bridge. They need to be careful of the flank and the high ground. You see Admiral going up the top. He could go around the side as he is now, try and get some damage, and maybe even use Blade from back there. Ragnaraki has to be careful where he's blocking. And now there's a fight up on the high ground. If North takes Billy out now, that would be massive for the in-laws, as it's kind of hard for Mercy to get up there and get that res. Now, North is going to get Billy, but in a resable position, so it is back to even. Right now, this fight needs to actually start happening. Oh, and that is going to be big. A huge shatter. That's going to be pick after pick. Valk is out, but to what avail? Healing a baby diva, maybe trying to get a res. That's going to be it, though, as the payload is so close. Very good contest from Tresky, though. Very good plays. Has not died yet, as there's not really anyone to quite counter a Mercy. And here comes Billy, coming out as fast as possible, but the in-laws are going to take game 1. North running away with play of the game. Great plays from this Hanzo, but everyone knows that behind every good Dragon Strike is a Graviton. Big shoutouts to Apple for allowing that play to happen. And as we go into Game 2, this caster is going to take a short break. We are headed into 2CP, our favorite map type, on Temple of Anubis. Can you imagine why it's called that? In any cases, we do have a switch in. Ragnar Rocky is going to be replaced by its Mr. Kiwi. Meanwhile, the in-laws are staying the same. Admiral on the Genji is an interesting choice on defense. Going to be trying to finish off any kills that North softens up. With this kind of DPS combo, you need to be able to communicate all of your body shots as a Widowmaker so that Admiral can go in and clean those up. Otherwise, standard composition, standard tanks, standard healers. Meanwhile, on the other team, let's see what they've got going on over there. Definitely seems like a dive. A very classic dive with a Mercy. It's always a fun time to see these again. And lucky for the Fools, there's no Brigitte on the other team. There's no kind of anti-dive. And in fact, there's a Widow. North needs to be very careful and needs to get the support of the team, or else North's going to get dove a lot. And that's with a Discord Orb, D.Va, Winston, Tracer, and Genji. That's going to be a very quick death. It all comes down to the communication of the Fools as they coordinate their dives. Now, down on this middle high ground, North is protected by the shield, not on the far back high ground, which is going to be good against this dive comp, as you want to be as close as possible to your tanks. San is going to get taken down. San is also brought in, so there was more than one replacement. Now, Transcend is backing up, giving them space, but now it's interesting. The dive is going in a position where you can get spammed out a lot. Not quite sure why they went this route, as it's, as a dive, much more easy to just go through main or top right and then dive from there. But it does look like they're trying to use their cooldowns to make it through that window, but Mr. Kiwi seems to have missed that jump 2 times in a row. And there it is, finally made it through. So now the rest of the team should be soon to follow, although it seems that the in-laws have them plugged up here pretty squarely. North is going to take Mr. Kiwi down in the back. Admiral is the only in-law to go down, and look at this charge from Apple. Absolutely ripping through these players. Didn't quite get that Zenyatta, and is going to get finished off. That is unlucky, as that turned from almost a kill to getting killed. Big plays from Hydreigon, switching to the Widowmaker, now in this Widow 1v1. And now you see the dive making the right side rotation, and Hydreigon gets a shot onto North. Genji does not block it in time, but does take Hydreigon down. Still, Earthshatter comes out, doesn't get anything. Both supports are in the back, though, but the fight is brought to the point. The in-laws are going to absolutely annihilate anyone here, as Runa finishes off Kiwi. Ooh, Admiral shuts Billy down, and then Runa does this definitely helpful. It's a morale boost Transcend. In any case, things are looking good for the in-laws yet again. 2 minutes have already been eaten up. And with Graviton on deck, this could be absolutely devastating, assuming that it doesn't get eaten. They don't have anything to throw in as a combo, but a Reinhammer is typically enough. At the very least, it can eat up a Transcendence, which is what in-laws should be looking to do right now, as that's the one thing that they don't have an answer for. North is going to win the Sniper Battle versus Hydreigon this time, and now the dive is all on the top right, which means that Apple could get a good grab, even through the roof right here. It could stick them all, but they're going to hold on to that grab while the Fools rotate around the top. They need to get Zenyatta to Discord someone and then dive that target. I haven't seen any coordinated dives from this team yet. They've just moved around and gotten picked. Hydreigon loses the Widow fight again, and that's going to be another 10 seconds until Hydreigon's in the fight. And here the dive's just waiting. They haven't selected to do anything yet. Valk, though, is out from both teams. The dive is finally commencing, but Transcend is just swinging around. San is using Transcendence to keep his team nice and healthy. No picks from either side. They're kind of just still feeling each other out, not really doing much damage, except North killed Hydreigon again, and then killed San. This is big. Zen's from both sides down. But really, North has not been having a good time. Transcend with a double Fire Strike kill, blocking that D.Va bomb. Big plays from the big boss Reinhardt. And now only 30 seconds left. The in-laws are, in fact, pushing forward to try and get some extra charge and maybe some late staggers. It all comes down to this. And a nice headshot to start things off with. Hydreigon's going to finally get revenge on North yet again. Doesn't get another headshot yet, but still, this has opened the path for the rest of the Fools. It's now or never, but with no ultimates. Earthshatter and Blade are on deck. Earthshatter's going to get blocked, though, and Transcend is looking pretty low on health. He's going to get taken down, and so is Runna. Now it's up to Admiral to try and defend this point, but there's another Blade. Billy shuts that Blade down with his own, even though Sand is taken down. Billy's getting a couple kills. Sand's brought back up, and this is going to be a surprising reversal, as they went in with no ults and ended up winning the point. Good job to the Fools as they move into point B. Hydreigon, while not consistently winning the Widow 1v1s, is winning them where they count, just like opening that point open. And now North has switched onto a Hanzo, likely for that combo, as Genji Blade with Zarya is still definitely viable, but not as easy or clean as a Grav Dragon Strike. Now, Valk is out, but Mr. Kiwi is down. Rez should be coming out unless it's still on cooldown. It seemed like the sound happened, but it may have gotten cancelled. And now the in-laws are pushing back. Poor Sand's going to get taken down. RLC is the next target, but goodbye, Admiral. Hydreigon's got your head on lockdown. Hydreigon's going to get another kill onto Runna. Really, without having to 1v1 a Widow, uncontested in getting these picks. Unfortunately, they were in that middle area, not on the point, which is where they need to be happening. And now Hydreigon with sights. This is the time to really pop off. But with a Genji chasing Hydreigon and no healing in sight, it's going to be very tough. And suddenly North shows up. Transcend gets a kill, and North finishes off the rest of the team. And, you know, some celebratory dragons. Not quite going to get any kills, but you might as well if you're getting your ult that fast. Not only that, but in-laws won that fight and still have 4 ults moving into the next defense, and oh, this is ugly. This is just unfortunate. What RLC needs to do right now, exactly, is try and kill the Mercy so that they have to kill the D.Va. But that was quite the funny stagger to look at. In-laws moving into this next defense are looking pretty set. The only tools that the Fools are going to run in with are support ults. They will have a barrage soon enough, but they don't have a D.Va. I mean, they don't have an Aris. They have a D.Va, but they don't have a Graviton from the Zarya. Now, Valk is out, giving everyone 60 healing and 30% damage boosted. Alternatively, Billy's going to get a couple kills, but Trance is on the point to keep people alive. Admiral's going to get a double dash like it's Mario Kart on the GameCube, and it's going to start turning things around. Admiral still alive, is getting more picks. A good reflect dash for Hydreigon. Admiral is just seeming unstoppable right now, bouncing back and forth like a pinball with these dash resets. And now it's just the Pharmacy, not a lot that you can do. Billy's going to finish Admiral off, but still, this Pharmacy's got to get on moving. Sand needs to be really careful here, doesn't want to get picked off, as that's been the bane of the Dallas Fools right now. Their dives haven't really worked out, and half the time they're getting picked off super late. Now, what's notable is that Kiwi is back to the Winston, so they're committing to the full dive again, featuring the Hanzo, which is, you know, welcome to any composition nowadays. But still, this is the last minute. This is where things have to happen. And notice that Transcend is switched off to an Orisa, which is very good as an anti-dive option. And Grav here in the hallway could be absolutely devastating. Apple uses their life to get it, and North uses their Dragon Strike. Only gets 1, though, as the Transcendence tries and stops most of the Dragon. Runna picks off his Zenyatta counterpart, but the Mercy is going to res. San is back on deck, but so is Apple, and the fight isn't even on the point. Only 30 seconds left. Billy's going to let it rip like a Beyblade. Going to get a couple kills. This may be what the Fools need to try and win this fight. North is going to go down. Admiral, no match for a Winston, unfortunately, is going to get chased back to spawn. Barely makes it, but Monkey Old is going to try and keep him in the room. Valkyrie is going to let Duocore get back to the point. They have to cap here, or else 1 tick is where they're going to end. Transcend is out. They're going to try and keep the team alive and healthy. In-laws has made a bit of a comeback. It's all down to these final kills. The spawn advantage is not really in the In-Laws' favor anymore because of the elongated timer. It's still closer than the enemy spawn, but it's not super great with the extra time added on. So if Fools can finish off these kills just a little bit faster, especially with Apple missing that jump, they're getting a lot more progress now. The Mei Wall and the Mei Stall is coming out, and a Blade from Admiral may be what they need to finish this off. And unfortunate, Billy was definitely seemingly on the point. But you know what? 78.9%, that's pretty good. Flipping sides over here, it is now the Houston In-Laws' time to attack and the Dallas Fools to defend. It's definitely more winnable than Game 1. Eichenwald, that middle of the Streets phase. Streets phase is typically the easiest place to cap. Anubis, though, is going to be easier to defend as the Dallas Fools, especially since they got almost all 3 ticks, almost 80% of point B. They should be feeling a lot better this map, so hopefully they can keep that attitude moving forward in this defense, and maybe even try to hold point A. We'll see what strategies they use to try and counter the In-Laws this time around. They're going to be using an interesting... Okay, no. With the McCree, it would have been interesting, but this is going to be their dive composition. It was interesting that their dives didn't really seem to be happening. They ended up winning the fights, but through usage of ults and other plays, but their main mechanical dive hasn't really been happening, and that may be due to miscommunication, or maybe they haven't practiced the dive, but they're running it here in the finals nonetheless, and it did get them as far as it did, so they're hoping to try and keep running that as a defense. Now the In-Laws are going to be running Death Ball with a Pharah and a Widow. That is a lot of damage and pick potential, particularly from North, who we saw win most of the Widow 1v1s. So the In-Laws are probably feeling pretty good moving into a very winnable position. They just have to cap 79% of point B. So with Pharah and North up, Admiral and North are going to try and open up this with picks. And look, the tanks are already on the point, and Sand is already down. This is absolutely devastating for the Fools. The In-Laws are playing on the point, which means that dive has to be on the point as well, and that's not really how you want to play that comp. Death Ball in an enclosed space is much better than dive any day. Dive needed to be proactive, but instead they waited, and it's definitely paying. The In-Laws are going to have this soon enough. And look at all of this ult charge going up for Transcend. That's going to be an Earth Shatter going into the second phase. This is a pretty quick and solid take with 7 minutes left to try and get 79%. Now, they should probably run a dry run. The In-Laws may opt to just go in and use the Earth Shatter. When you're playing Ryan versus Ryan, there's a lot of mind games in when's someone going to put their shield down, when should I shatter, when should they shatter. But right now, all you have to do is wait for a Winston bubble to get put down and destroyed, and then it's time to shatter. Now the rotation is going to go left. North has switched to the McCree for the closer damage, but Admiral's caught out by the RLC on the Diva, but isn't going to end up as much, and look at the Earth Shatter already! Billy's going to get 1 pick, but Admiral's going to do so much work. And now it's just RLC on the point, as well as a Primal Raging Monkey. But this is already getting them progress. Monkey's not even fighting on the point, which means that that's 1 tick already. Valkyrie is going to come out, but Hydreigon's not going to last for long. Tresky with the Valk is going to survive as long as possible. But now with the Valk on both sides and Lucio barriers on the In-Laws, it's going to be very tough to hold this. It's not looking super great, especially with this grab out. That's huge. That got almost everyone on the point, and now it's Bully May time. Meanwhile, Admiral's going to try and stop anyone from getting onto the point by booping with that concussive blast. It's Kiwi out of the way. A nice body shot close up, and that's going to be a roll into Game 2, putting Houston 2-0. Billy's gonna get play of the game that could have gone to Admiral or North. But it was this overtime capture. It was a good slice and dice. Found both the Genji, the Mercy, the Zenyatta. Big value, and the real reason that they were able to cap that point at all. Now, excuse that. Nothing to see here behind the curtain. In any case, the Houston In-Laws are up 2-0. Now, this is a best of 5, which means that they really only have one more game to win. Every game moving from here is game point. Dallas Fools needs to be feeling the pressure, knowing that the entire Season 0 finals comes down to this next game. They need to win this game, or oof. Now, hopefully, that's something that they can accomplish. Hopefully, they can get this Game 3 and ensure that they have a chance to win. Try and keep this series going, but we'll see how things move in the future going into Game 3. Until then, we're going to get a new lobby set up because Overwatch is a game that is perfect and has no glitches whatsoever, and we will be back shortly.
Traveling to Nepal.
Moving on to Game 3, we are going to do King of the Hill on Nepal. Again, Houston In-Laws in this best of 5 is only one game away from taking the series. They have made a couple switches. Admiral and North are out, Surplus, or no, not North, Surplus and Jakarta are in. Admiral and one other player is out. On the other side, Billy is out from the Fools and Panda Plays is in. Now this map, this is the classic Orisa Hog map. It's very good for the environmental kills as well as a Pharah and a Lucio. And remember that if you get an environmental kill, your ult charges up by how much health they had at the time. Meaning if a Lucio gets, a boop on a Roadhog, that is 600 health put into his ult meter. It's absolutely massive. Now, the In-Laws are going to be playing a Death Ball, as are the Dallas Fools. A counter to the Orisa Hog composition can be a Death Ball where you just walk past the shield. So it seems that both teams are going to opt for that Death Ball situation. In-Laws are going to be running the classic comp, as we've known to come and love it or hate it. Meanwhile, we're going to see kind of a counter comp from the Fools with Hydreigon playing the Pharah in the Farm Mercy combo. And Panda plays as the McCree, perhaps foreseeing any possible Pharahs on the other team. Now there's no Lucio on either side, so they're going to get to the point at the same time, but it does look like the point presence is going to go to the Fools first. This is a very good situation for Hydreigon to be on, because any Concussive Blast could net a couple environmental kills, especially on people with those big barriers. Now Panda Place is going to get the first kill on Transcend, which is very big for the Fools, as that's going to open up the fight for them and hopefully lead to a cap of this point. Apple's very low in this little cubby, and with a punch goes down with a little bit more. And while North does get Hydreigon and Tresky, Jakarta held the point for as long as possible. But the cap is going to go to the Dallas Fools. Only barely, though. It's only the tank still alive. If they wanted to, Transcend and North could take this fight. But now, North found Panda Plays on the side and is going to take Panda down, which makes this a much easier retake, or a flip for the In-Laws. The Dragons are going to get Kiwi immediately, and then a Storm Arrow on... Or no, then the ult still kills RLC. Good shots onto Hydreigon to soften him up for Transcend to get the kill. And that's going to be a simple flip, and a solid but not too large percent in favor of the Fools. And now they have to get through this choke point. The Fools never had the ability to hold the choke point because of how many people they lost after having capped. So this is a situation that gives In-Laws such a heavy lead. Now the Earth Shard does go down, and it destroys RLC, who is standing right in front of the shield. Unfortunate positioning, and now Transcendence is out, trying to make something of this fight, but having already lost your Zarya, this is not a particularly winnable fight. Fools are going to rotate around the left side, though, and with two squishies spotted, North is going to get taken down, but Runna is going to finish that kill as well. And then both picks are going to get rezzed as if nothing ever happened. Big shatter on the point. But unfortunately, Mr. Kiwi got booped, so he could not capitalize. And now there's a Brigitte. She's coming. She's waving. Absolutely terrifying if you're a Reinhardt. But you know what? I think Mr. Kiwi has the play. Still, though, this is bad for the Fools. Even though they got a couple picks here and there, the point is still counting up. And now if Panda Place gets picked here, it's going to be a big feed. Oh, even worse, Tresky goes down. Even though Panda Plays got a pick, it's not worth it having lost a Mercy. Still, Panda Plays does have ult, RLC has grab, they could make something with that, but Transcendence is up from Runna, and Apples has their own Graviton, and look at where they're hiding. Not going to hide for too long, though, as they're going to try and get Sun down. But Panda Plays spotted Apple and took them out immediately. That's no grab for them. And this could be a flip for the Dallas Fools. Corner checking and making sure Surplus can't do anything cheeky. And now the Deadeye is out. Not going to get anything, but Transcend is going to take Mr. Kiwi down with him. Transcendence is out. 99%. Grab's going to get poor Jakarta. Ooh, and Runna, sneaky Zenyatta, lived because he was tranced on the other side of the wall. The point did get flipped, but the In-Laws only need to win one team fight in order to get this round, so the Fools need to play very carefully. Hydreigon does have the barrage. Sand has trance. Could be something they use in tandem, especially because Hydreigon is going super sneaky around. But no, everyone has armor now, which makes things much more difficult. The North gets caught out a little bit, but Hydreigon needs to get healed. Moving into this fight, Zari is chasing, and Hydreigon goes down. Surplus with all this armor is not going to die because of that flashbang. No sir, not today. Apple gets a couple kills. Earthshatter comes out from Transcend, gets a couple kills here and there, and that's going to be an immediate flip back to the in-laws. A fun grab and barrage, but it had already been won for the in-laws as no one can make it to contest in time. Moving over to Village. This is again a death ball map. We could see a Mei, as Mei is very effective blocking up each doorway of this point. I remember a particularly frustrating day in Season 1 of Overwatch Competitive where a team had multiple Meis, 3 or 4 Meis, and would constantly plug up these choke points so that there was no way my team could get in. I hate to remember those days, and it looks like Apple's going to try and bring him back with this Mei. Oh, unfortunate. I spoke too soon. They're going to be playing the standard comp, but with a Genji instead of a Hanzo. Interesting choice. We'll see how that plays out. Meanwhile, the Fools are going to be running Death Ball tanks with dive DPS. Hopefully the tanks are able to sop people up for a Genji Tracer to go in, but speaking about softened up, Mr. Kiwi gets deleted immediately, and now there's a Genji on the support. Sand goes down, and there's no way you can get a res in here. RLC is trying to make as much space as possible, but there's a shield just walking in their direction, and a blade already! That's absolutely massive, as North gets 1, 2, maybe looking for 3, all the while the in-laws are capping. Now back to the point, in-laws are going to stabilize and reset, get some good positioning. Meanwhile, the Fools, it's really coming down to this. If they lose this round, they lose the game and the match. So it all comes down to if they're able to flip this point and get it to 100. No ults to work with as of yet from both teams, so hopefully Fools can win this based on just mechanical skill alone. Now they are successing in pushing the in-laws back, and these bubbles are keeping Mr. Kiwi alive, but only for so long. He's so low. Valkyrie comes out, and Shatter as well. Mr. Kiwi getting big plays right now, and all support necessary. Panda Plays gets a kill with his blade, an entire blade kill nonetheless. And that's going to be a flip. 43% is a good start for the in-laws. Here we might see the Fools try and, make something of this game. They are completely down on ults, though. Running up to Transcend's Earthshatter. And if there's no Rein nearby, this could be very scary for them. Now, North getting bubbled is going to give his Zarya a lot of energy. And now, the in-laws are kind of unsure what to do, when to go out. They have Earthshatter and they have Valk, but when do you go out and take this fight? They're going to go out now with the Valk, and North is in the back onto Tresky. Earthshatter does not land anything, and a grab holds them all in place, and that's the biggest pulse bomb in the world. The quick mouse movements from RLC were very cheeky, as that's going to be a clean wipe and give Fools the lead. There's a lot of things that Transcendence can keep you alive through. A pulse bomb is not one of them. So it's a good thing that Runna didn't have Trance to use at that time. Now again, Fools is out of ults, but they've made these fights work before as Mr. Kiwi and San are getting close. They do need to take this fight to the point, though. They need to contest it. And Surplus with that shield bash is looking pretty scary against Panda Plays. And here is the grab. It's kept them on the ceiling. A very odd place, but North with the dashes. I thought Pulse Bomb did a lot of damage, but that dash was absolutely ludicrous. And now with Blade on deck, North has a lot to work with going forward, not to mention the 150 armor. Now, the in-laws, they're looking to try and match these percentages up. And they've got a couple ults to work with. Not only the Blade, as I said before, but also Run as Transcendence, and Fools are going to go in with the Transcendence of their own, and an Earth Shatter and a Blade, so they definitely have the tools to get through this, and both supports are down! Runna gets run into again. Blade takes him down, and this is going to be a quick flip from the Fools, if I've ever seen one. There's still a couple staggering players here, particularly North on the Genji, who did not use Blade. Very smart, because that fight was definitely lost. 86% though, they only need to win, or they need to cap once and then win a defense, if even that. The biggest thing they need to do is cap. So the in-laws coming into this are probably going to need to use this Grav Blade combo coming up. North started off with Sand going down, so that's no Transcendence, that's absolutely huge! And then North with the Blade, doesn't even have to worry about the healing from Zenyatta, is going to flip this point, 87% and counting. Now, if they can stagger this Genji, that would be absolutely massive. As Panda Plays is here in the backline, can touch if necessary. And he's on the point. Earthshatter stopped the rest of his team, but Panda Plays is here to contest. Got a kill onto Jakarta, opening up this fight. Transcendence is now used, not during an ultimate, trying to force this fight into a win, but the Fools now have their best chance, especially with Grav, but they're losing members nonetheless. Apple's getting a bunch of kills. Transcend got a Fire Strike onto Tresky of all people, and Panda Plays got finished off. Overtime ticking down. That is a 2-0 and a 3-0 in the tournament. Who will get the final play of the game? It's gonna go to High Dragon. No shift Genji for you. This is going to be a completely solid Graviton Pulse Bomb combo into the middle of the team with a quad kill. And then a couple punches onto North while they stagger him. Oh, absolutely dirty. And that's it. Thank you everybody so much for showing up to the season finale of the first season of the Overwatch Community Cup. We're finally done with Season 0, and we're so excited to move on to Season 1 in the future with some reworked rules to ensure fairness and some other things. Can't wait to have you moving into the next season. Thanks again for showing up, and I will see you later.